It's a real pleasure to be here with my esteemed fellow researchers, as well as such a nice. How am I doing? Okay. Do you have the pointer? Pointer was trafficked. Okay. I'll just point at the.
It looks like a pen.
Oh, it looks like a pen. Okay.
Yep.
Wow, it does look like a pen.
Turn it around. Turn it around.
Got it.
The
other end. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
All right, thank you. We're looking at the impact of state firearm laws and regulations on illegal trafficking of firearms. This reports on NRJ-funded research, and it had two major components. One was a nationwide study of firearms trace data, about 900,000 recovered firearms between 2003 and 2006, of which we looked at a subset of about 250,000, where the traces were traced a person who was not the original purchaser. And there was a second component which looked at the ability to extend normal ATF firearms tracing beyond first-time retail purchases to last known purchases using California dealer record of sale information. We focused on time to crime. Time to crime is a measure of when a gun was, time from when a gun was first purchased, typically first-time retail sale in ATF, to when it was finally recovered by law enforcement. Short time to crime guns are typically thought of as guns that are more likely to have been actively trafficked. ATF points this out, and researchers have consistently found that newer guns tend to be concentrated in guns that are recovered from crime. We looked at the variation in time to crime across four legal contexts: states with no purchase and registration laws, states with purchase or registration, purchase or purchase and California. California only has a purchase registration law, but it has a fairly well-developed system of managing and regulating its firearms dealers. We also looked at whether a gun was an in-state sale or was an out-of-state sale. In other words, was the gun that was recovered bought from an in-state dealer, or was it bought from a dealer that was out of state? This is the first set of results. We're looking at the proportion of short time to crime guns across each of the four legal contexts we talk about. And let's just concentrate on short time to crime weapons. As you can see, for in-state purchases, the states without purchase and registration laws had about a 1.5 to 2.5, these aren't the exact ratios, 1.5 to 2.5 times greater short time to crime guns than either California or states with purchase and registration laws. States with purchase and registration laws were also shown to have lower proportion of short time to crime guns. The number of states we're looking at here, just for your information, is 36, 7, 6 states had purchase and registration laws, and 1, of course, California. For out-of-state purchasers, the ratios were even a little higher. States without purchase and registration laws had about 2 to 3 times higher proportion of short time to crime guns than either California or the states with both of those laws. In order to understand the impact of firearms laws and regulations, we wanted to look at as well the rate, the per capita rate of firearms recovered, traced firearms recovered across each of these contexts. You can't look at the number because the populations of these states and the population of gun owners across these states are very different, which would generate numbers substantially different just on that basis. So we looked at the per capita rate of gun traces per gun owner using the behavioral risk surveillance survey data from 2001, which was on about 200,000 households. Here we find even greater differences. The per capita rate of traced guns originating from states with no purchase and registration laws, looking at short time to crime guns and guns more likely to have been trafficked, are about, what's the ratio on that? That's about 4 to 5 times greater. I had the number written here. Than either states without purchase and registration laws or California. Now, those for in-state purchases. You'll notice for out-state purchases, the guns that are in a sense exported, as Daniel was suggesting, the ratios are even a little higher. States with purchase and registration laws have a rate which is about 6 to 7 times higher than either California or the states with both of those laws. There's one big anomaly here. California, for a long time to crime guns, actually has a higher rate of guns per capita, traced guns per capita, than the other states and the other categories. Now, that time to crime is 11 years. 11 years is takes us to the middle 90s. California implemented fairly strong regulations of dealers in the middle 90s. They had an environment that was probably a little bit more like the states without purchase and registration laws at that time. The policy implications go along with much of what's been said. State-level laws backed by a strong commitment to regulation can reduce the degree to which criminals either obtain guns or transfer guns from legal commerce. The stringency of laws and regulation leads to consistently lower proportions of short time to crime guns and persistently lower levels of traced guns per capita. And one of the things that we didn't look at, which was the second component, we found that when you are able to extend your trace data from first-time retail purchase, standard ATF trace, to a last known purchaser using dealer record of sale information, you are able to improve your ability to get focused data for law enforcement. So that's it. Thank you very much.